show, we do have a few things that we need to get to. Definitely appreciate you all being here. Let me make sure I can get my chat going here 1 second. We got a lot of risks to go over today, including the tornado risks that we have. A significant amount of tornadoes are expected in areas of Kansas. We've got the highlighted area. We also have a number of risks for flash flooding going on in a number of areas, including Kansas, that is expected to have some flash flooding going on. I appreciate y'all being here. We're going to go over all the weather models and see about timing here in a little bit. We'll go through the HRRR model and we'll touch base a little bit on the NAM 3K model. We're not going to go out any farther than today's risk. Just to let you know, we're not going to go out any farther than today's risk because we will have another live tomorrow morning, and that's when we will go over the risks that are for tomorrow. The severe risks for today are pretty significant. I wish I was going to be able to be live handling this, but unfortunately, I am not able to. Just realized that I had to update the date for the outlook here. All right, so let's go through these risks. We do have for today the Kansas that 5 to 9%. Appreciate y'all joining. And the overall outlook into areas of Kansas, we have a moderate risk for areas like Garden City, Dodge City, Liberal, Kansas, Great Bend, up towards Hayes, Hutchinson, Pratt, and Wichita. That is in a 4 out of 5 risk for your overall severe risks. Now, your severe wind risk, there is a hatched area that encompasses pretty much the whole entire state of Kansas. I'm not going to lie, this is going to be a significant day, and if you're in the Kansas area, take heed to this warning. This is no joke today. This is going to be unfolding pretty significantly, and my heart goes out to those folks that are going to be impacted by this. The severe hail risk, we do have that severe hail risk for the areas of Garden City all the way back over to areas of eastern Colorado. This includes Hayes, Great Bend, Dodge City, Pratt, Wichita, Hutchinson. Again, we'll show the timing here in just a little bit. Cheryl T, thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Thank you, David Tyson, for the follow. All right, so your risks for the flooding. There's a moderate, at least 40% risk for areas of Kansas that you can see in that graphic there. Also areas of Pennsylvania for today. There is a moderate risk, slight risk for the southern part of Iowa. So while there's tornado risks in Kansas, there's also that flooding risk in Kansas. Eastern part of Nebraska is the slight risk, and even over into areas of Kentucky and eastern Ohio, as well as West Virginia. Unfortunately, West Virginia has already been hard hit. And I'm talking a little bit slower today just because I'm over this rain. I mean, I live in South Dakota, so obviously we haven't gotten near as much as the folks that have already been hard hit, but still doesn't mean that it doesn't hit me just as hard. All right, so as we go into tomorrow's risks, we still have a marginal risk for excessive rainfall in some of the same areas. Again, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, southern Wisconsin, areas of Missouri and Arkansas and back into eastern Oklahoma. Those are the risks for your flooding. Now let's go ahead and bring the weather models up and show you exactly what's expected to happen on the timing. Bear with me one moment. All right, let's see here. 1 second. Get the timing of this figured out here. Sorry, folks. Having a little bit of a struggle right now. Be one moment. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the weather models and the timing of how this might play out. I'm going to keep the convective outlooks off of here so that we don't get too clouded, but I am going to show you the weather models based on HRRR weather model. And we'll go through a loop on the timing of what this might look like. Thank you, Gunrovin99, for sharing the live. I appreciate that very much. If you're in the Kansas area today at all, you guys are going to be impacted pretty hard. This is a look at close to midnight time frame. So things are going to get a little tricky because we do have some storms that happened this morning. And so that is helping for the atmosphere to stabilize a little bit in the Kansas area. But I do suspect that there's going to be plenty of moisture available and there's going to be plenty of instability later on. And let me kind of show you how that is expected to play out here. I apologize, it's taking a little bit of time. You already got flash flooding going on and flood watch in areas of Salina, flash flood warnings in McPherson. Is that Kansas or Kansas City? Right now, I'm looking at Kansas City area, pretty much the whole Kansas, state of Kansas, and this is estimated at 9 a.m., okay? This is based on one weather model. So as you can see, it kind of dies out a little bit by 11 o'clock in the Kansas City area. Emporia gets a little bit more stormy. And then as we get through the afternoon hours, that's when things really start ramping up. Right here is the time in Central Daylight Time. So just be aware of that. Any of you that have been in my area or watching these lives for a number of times already know this, but I wanted to make sure that folks that are new do know that. Junction, Kansas, where exactly is that? Could you give me a little bit? Is it south of I-70? Is it south of I-35? Or is it north? McKenna, if you could tell me where Junction, Kansas, by Manhattan. Okay, I got you. So we'll zoom in there a little bit. This is the closest that I can get. All right, so the Manhattan area looks pretty significant this afternoon. Right there, Manhattan. That would indicate to me with this blue, you're going to have some significant storms, meaning big time hail, possibility of some tornadoes. I mean, you guys are in that 5% risk. So for tornadoes, 5 to 10% risk. Yeah, Wichita is definitely going to get smacked pretty hard as well today. I know I don't have a live radar on right now, but let me go ahead and put on the, whoops, not that. Let me go ahead and put on the watches and all of that. So over by Tulsa, you do have a severe thunderstorm watch, and that expects some 80-mile-an-hour winds this morning. That expires at 10 o'clock. So Just be mindful if you're in the Tulsa, Bartsville, Oklahoma area. There's a lot of lightning. Yeah, I would not doubt there's a lot of lightning. Again, those storms are likely to eventually dissipate. Unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit of time for things to dissipate. Wichita is, those storms are moving off to the east, and we'll have that regenerate. Nashville, Tennessee, you guys do have some risks for flooding today. As far as the severe risk, Nashville, you're in a marginal risk for severe weather today. 8 lives down. Thank you very much for the follow. All right, so let's move this thing along a little bit further here to see what the evening is going to bring. As you can see right here in Salina, Kansas, along that I-135 and I-70 down back to areas of Pratt. Yeah, Bella T-Rex traveling I-80 east through Nebraska to Des Moines. Well, I'm in the, this is the area of Kansas, so I-80 east. You should be okay. I mean, this isn't that Lincoln is going to still end up having some significant storms here around 4 and 5 o'clock. But if, depending on the timing, Bella T-Rex, depending on the timing of when you're going to impact Lincoln. So if you end up like Lincoln, Nebraska area, if you're in that area around 4 or 5 o'clock, you could have some pretty significant rain. But as far as I could tell here, oh, yep, around 7 p.m. So if you're making your way over to Des Moines, you could get impacted by some of these hail storms here, Clarinda or Clarinda, which would be in Iowa. Once you get to, looks like 8 p.m., still some storms kind of brewing there, but nothing real significant. And when I say significant, I don't suspect that there's going to be tornadoes in this area. Like over by Des Moines and that. Azim Karim, Tulsa area is, we'll take a look at Tulsa here real quick. This is, again, radar estimates of timing. So the timing of this is looking after midnight in areas of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Could have some pretty significant flooding is expected in the Tulsa area for today as well. We have a slight risk for excessive rainfall outlook for that area as well. Bella T-Rex, you're welcome. Azim Karim, you're welcome. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at live radar. We do just have one severe thunderstorm warning. However, that is pretty impactful. And I'll take a look at that real quick here. 1 second and clear out these weather models. All right, so this is a live look at where this storm is, and let's see some areas that are impacted by this. So Atlanta part of Kansas. Atlanta, Kansas, you could expect some storm impacts. This would have some excessive rainfall as well as 60-mile-an-hour winds, 3/4 inch hail. It's moving east at 41 miles per hour, and its radar indicated storm Cambridge close to 9 a.m. I mean, goodness gracious, this is going to take forever to move along. Let's kind of show what that is expected, the timing of over the course of this morning. As you can see, the polygons that kind of moved through this morning, Wichita has been just getting crazy pounded with these storms, one right after another. As you can see, that wall of red that kind of pushed through, and it just regenerated itself over there. So these are the storms that are in that area. Let's go ahead and take a look again at the risks that are expected for today. Categorical outlook, you have that slight risk in the yellow, and the moderate risk is encompassing pretty much the whole part of Kansas, and then you have the enhanced risk, or 3 out of 5 in Kansas. Northern portion of Oklahoma is in the enhanced, as well as the you go down to Oklahoma City and you're in that slight risk. Areas up to Des Moines is in the slight risk as well. The probability for tornadoes, that encompasses areas over to St. Joseph, even as far as Columbia, Missouri, a 2% risk. The 5% risk is in Brown, Salina, Kansas. This is live look at radar. I can take a look at Salina, Kansas. Dania, Danica, do you want me to take a look at estimates? I can certainly take a look at radar estimates of what it's going to look like later today, if you would like. All right, let me go ahead and do that for her. Since we did already inform you of the risks, let's go to back to our radar estimates here. 1 second. All right, we're going to load this up here. Just 1 moment. All right, so let's take a look at Salina, Kansas area, and then we'll go down to Ozark, Missouri for Alicia. Appreciate you joining, and appreciate if you have not followed already. I appreciate the follow. So this will look at around 2:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time for Salina, and then there's 3 o'clock. Pretty significant storms in here. Again, right now, what we're expecting, Salina, you are in that 5% risk for tornadoes, so stay weather aware today, pretty much through the afternoon hours and into the early evening hours. By the time you get done with, by the time 6 or 7 o'clock gets done, again, this is based on radar estimates, and her model does get updated hourly, so just be mindful. This could end up changing completely. But you do have some regenerated storms that happen over by Salina area after 7 p.m. again. So again, the risk for Salina, Kansas is a slight risk for excessive rainfall. So that's going to be another huge impact for that area. You're welcome, Danica. Let's get it. Hey, Kansas storm chasing. Tim, I hope you are going crazy today with your exciting news. Going to be with Reed, the goat of chasing. How do you say it? Salina? I used to live in Kansas and I always said Salina, but is it Salina? It must be Salina. I used to live in Lenexa, actually. I apologize. So sorry, folks. Salina. I did not realize it was a long I. Can tell I'm from South Dakota for so many years. Oh, goodness. All right, so areas, will Iowa ever stop getting storms? That's a loaded question. No, not if you're saying ever stop getting storms, no. Weather patterns change. Hello from Lenexa, Steve Holder. All right, so let's go to, I'll get back to Kansas here in a second, but I know that the Ozarks, some folks wanted to know about that in areas of Missouri. Let's get the timing figured out for that. Your timing for some of the Ozark, Missouri area, expect that to be really late. Um, I can only go out to about midnight with the HER model, and I'm just focusing on today's risks right now. So I would suspect that you're probably going to have more significant risks into the overnight hours as it progresses. Right. I'm not able to pull it up here. Right there is Ozark. Yes, I understand that completely. But again, doesn't show a whole lot going on, maybe spotty storms at best. You are in the slight risk. So just stay weather aware is the best that I can tell you at this point, Alicia. All right, so let's go back to, so Candace just moved there, Lenexa. We're going to go back to Lenexa area. All right, Olathe, that major metro area. Well, it's probably got to be a huge change, Candace, from your New York fund. That's for sure. Let's go ahead and Lenexa. I know it's over by Overland Park area. There it is. There's Lenexa, folks. Timing for that. So you're in the enhanced risk, Lenexa, Kansas. Big time storms. Why is this showing midnight? Oh, 12. There we go. It looks like your storms are going to fire up sometime early in the afternoon based on HRRR. The bigger storms are going to be after 2 o'clock. You see that deep red? That is not good, folks. Deep red into the Kansas City metro area sometime after 2 o'clock. Moves on out for a little bit, but guess what? Oh, we want more storms, I guess. So it regenerates and continues over the same areas. Hence the reason that you have in Kansas, some parts have uh, the higher risk. Uh, there's some parts that have the slight risk and some parts that have the uh, marginal risk for excessive rainfall today. And Nevada, worried about the overnight. Mrs. Slate, I will certainly take a look at that here real quick. Um, so you're over. So in areas of Missouri, you do have an enhanced risk for tomorrow. And I'll switch to the NAM 3K model here in just a moment. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, Kansas storm chasing is going to be in Storm Dominator's storm recovery truck today following Reed Timmer. He's a very good friend of mine. I mean, I've never met him, but he's a solid guy. So um, definitely knows his stuff in Kansas. If any of you follow him, Kansas storm chasing, Tim Betts. You can bet he's going to be super excited with Reed today. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the NAM 3K here. We'll clear out this model and bring up NAM 3K. That was updated at 8 a.m. So hopefully I might have some issues with that. 1 second here. Let me see if I can pull up Radar Omega. 1 second, folks. I'm going to pull up Radar Omega and see if I can. So again, here's the excessive rainfall outlook. So we got this risk right here, a moderate risk for excessive rainfall. And let me go ahead and go back to NAM3K here, see if that was updated. It looks like it's still going through an update. Last update was 2 o'clock this morning. Usually it goes through an update around 8 a.m., but it's taken a little while. Again, you're looking at the excessive rainfall outlook, so I'm just going to take those off here real quick. So the NAM3K was updated at 2 a.m., so that's the latest that I could give you. Let's take a look at areas of the Ozarks down into Missouri area. Looks like around 2 o'clock in the morning right here, folks. So you can see the line. If this holds true, I mean, obviously there could be some development that changes with the later weather models, but this would be a wall of wind that would be impacting. So a gust front is expected, and this would be sometime around 2 o'clock in the morning. So areas of Springfield and southward, even over into those Ozark area. It slowly breaks up sometime around 3 o'clock in the morning and then tries to regenerate. And here's where that outlook comes for tomorrow, why they have this area in more of an enhanced risk as you get into southern part of Illinois. Carbondale, Harrisburg area around 7 p.m. tomorrow estimates. Pretty significant storms right here. Carrollton, Mississippi. Oh, West Virginia, I'll take a look. West Virginia, Dark Solo, you guys have a risk for tornadoes in Virginia. Sorry, not West Virginia, but Virginia. So let me take a look at the risks for West Virginia area. West Virginia, you do have that risk today, unfortunately, for some more rainfall. Excessive rainfall outlook does show that you guys have some risks for that as well. So unfortunately, more rain. I know that's not what you want to hear, Dark Solo. Unfortunate news. You have marginal risk for severe weather. Um, and then as far as the tornado risks, I do want to do a solid for the East Coast here as well. This would be the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area and Richmond, Virginia area um, that do have that risk for tornadoes over here as well. Oh, okay, you're just worried about the risks for the thunder and tornado risk. All right. Well, as far as the overall risk, marginal risk, so if you're not worried about you're not worried about the flooding and that type of thing, that's good. You must be in a good area. But as far as the other risks, yeah, they're pretty minimal um, in areas of West Virginia. It's your friend, Huntsville, Alabama. I gotcha. All right, Huntsville, Alabama, your estimates here for Huntsville, Alabama. Some spotty showers here expected late tonight after 5 p.m. But as far as your risks go, you're in that marginal risk area outlined in the green for today. See, have camp today with 30 children in Plainfield, Illinois. Are we okay weather-wise? Mom's life. I'll definitely take a look at that. Ohio, while I'm going up there, excessive rainfall in eastern part of Ohio and a marginal risk for severe weather, but you don't have a tornado. You have less than 2%. Jeff, I wasn't able to be live last night. I had to work until 9 o'clock at night. Sorry, man. So Plainfield, Illinois. Let's take a look at that. I'm looking right now at Radar Omega. I have a number of them that I utilize. So Plainfield area that we're looking at the NAM 3K. It looks like around NAM 3K is showing pretty spotty showers. Don't see anything that is of risk in Plainfield, Illinois for today. Going to have some rain, might be some lightning, but not anything super dangerous in Plainfield today. Tomorrow that changes a little bit, and I'll kind of show you that. Tomorrow, like late tonight into tomorrow, Plainfield, Illinois, you're in that slight risk. So today you're okay based on the latest information here. Jack sent roses. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Ohio here. The timing of that rain, when that might be showing up. All right, so we're going to take a look. This is around 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Doesn't show a whole lot in Ohio, but once we get into the late afternoon, early evening hours, this is actually a look at 9 p.m. and it starts showing up here. Let me show the HRRR model here. Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas, you guys are in a risk. Extreme Northwest, you're in marginal risk for today. I'll take a look at that here in just a minute here. All right, so the HRRR model does a little bit better of a job showing that up on here. Some spotty showers throughout the day in areas of Columbus, and then that marginal risk is further south of Chillicothe, over by Parkersburg, and of course that Pittsburgh area. Again, that excessive rainfall outlook. Let me show you that again here, folks. Let me shut off the risks 1 second. So here's that excessive rainfall that we were talking about. Slight risk here, moderate risk now with Pittsburgh included in that for excessive rainfall. And what that means is there's going to be some areas that could end up with 2-inch per hour rainfall with sub-hourly rain rates of 3 to 4 inches per hour of rainfall. That's a lot of rain, folks. Same thing over here in areas of Wichita and Kansas area. Luxury FX. I'm looking at the rainfall outlooks here. So let's take a look here at the tornado potential. Tornado potential is in Kansas and northern part of Oklahoma. This green shaded area, that is the 2% risk. And then, oh, in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, no, you're not at a risk, less than 2% risk for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to have a tornado today. Jackson Center, Ohio. West Virginia is not in a risk for, it's less than 2% for West Virginia tornado risk today. More so in areas of like Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Fredericksburg, and Richmond, Virginia area, yeah, as far as East Coast line. Kingsland Scaping, Jackson Center. Peoria, Ken's, I'll take a look at that. You have a risk tomorrow, and I'll kind of touch base with that a little bit here before I bug out. Oh, Dark Solo, you're wanting to know if you're at risk. Okay, let me go to that here shortly. All right, so the question, Jackson Center, Ohio, you guys for today are in a risk of general thunderstorms. So just general thunderstorms, non-severe type. All right, Peoria. Peoria, you're going to have your risk for tomorrow. So here's the risk for tornadoes for tomorrow. Okay, so that ends up impacting areas of Ohio, Indianapolis, Springfield, Bloomington, Chicago, Joliet. Um, these are significant areas. Can you do Atlanta, Georgia for this week? So that covers Peoria for Ken's. Dark Solo's asking for West Virginia. West Virginia, we would end up having some risks for West Virginia besides just the excessive rainfall. You're going to have more of that significant severe weather as we get into Thursday. How severe in Indiana? All right, Indiana, you're in a 5% for tomorrow. Today, today you don't need to worry about it so much. Areas of Indiana, you guys are in general thunderstorms for today. Max is asking for Devil, Georgia. Today, for areas of Georgia, you have in the south of Atlanta, you're going to be in the, I'll take a look at Devil, Georgia here real quick. There, I don't believe there's any Devil, Georgia. Must have been a funny, because I don't see any Devil, Georgia. Tulsa, Oklahoma. What about Dr. Pepper? What about Sioux Falls, South Dakota? Sioux Falls, you got general thunderstorms expected today, and again, the timing for Sioux Falls is going to be off and on, but uh, tomorrow you could end up with some more spotty showers at best. Not expecting a whole lot. Marginal severe risk down south in areas of Canton and Vermilion. But again, that's going to be very minimal. The risk for tornadoes in South Dakota area has been greatly diminished, and then don't expect to see that uh, until possibility for Wednesday, Thursday, things could ramp up as you get more of this day 3 outlook here. Doris, flying to O'Hare Airport this afternoon. What is the weather going to be at 6 p.m.? I'm going to give you guys some information here. Hang on 1 second. 1 second, folks. All right. Huge wall cloud in Tulsa. All right, let's go to a live radar here. I understand you're very concerned. All right, let me go over to, that's likely a gust front that you're seeing, and I can't tell you what your name is, but the picture with the clouds and the nice beautiful ocean and sunset there. Um, yes, this is, and none of these, let me verify the alerts here, 1 second. This is a special weather statement. So just so you're aware, folks, Tulsa, Oklahoma does not have a severe weather. It has a special weather statement that expires in the next 5 minutes. This is likely what's considered maybe a gust front as these line of storms have joined, but there isn't a risk right now of tornadic activity in areas of Tulsa. I just want to make sure. Dark Solo. Um, I can't see out far enough for the tornado risk. So when we go to day 3, SPC doesn't release tornado risk information until you get to day 2. So that's why I don't typically go out to day 3 outlooks, because it's misleading and I can't give you enough information. Wi-Fi is going out. What did you see? I don't see anything in Tulsa other than a whole wall of, I mean, there's excessive rain for sure. And you guys are, the severe thunderstorm watch is expiring in the next hour. Uh, Again, Tulsa is under that risk for some more storms later today. BBC, I apologize. So folks, I am working on a subscription-based live broadcasts as well that I'm trying to ramp up and get some things. So eventually, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be releasing some tiered subscriptions where you guys will get um, some elite coverage for specific areas, because sometimes in this chat it gets so busy and I can't take care of everybody, and it's not that I want you to pay for it, but I have to figure out a way, obviously, to make this more catered towards um, folks that are obviously paying for that. And Matthew Gray, Topeka, Kansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Broken Arrow. Oh goodness, lots of areas. Can you check Baton Rouge, Louisiana? So Baton Rouge, Louisiana area is general thunderstorms today. Uh, Again, tomorrow and day 3. Denton, Texas area, today you're okay. Tomorrow you start to get into some more of those risks, like the marginal risks for Denton. Broken Arrow, you guys are under the gun for slight risk. Let me pull some information here. Actually, Broken Arrow, let me pull that up on here. 1 second. I'm assuming you're talking about Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Mandy, thank you very much for the heart me's. I appreciate it. So Broken Arrow is in the risk for tornadoes, 2% risk. So just stay weather aware. Later this afternoon, redevelopment is expected later this afternoon. Little Rock, Arkansas, I understand that you're completely concerned about Little Rock, Arkansas. So your risks for today, Little Rock, general thunderstorms, but don't let your guard up. Tomorrow, I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody, but tomorrow, the risks, basically overnight tonight into tomorrow, those risks get a little bit higher in areas of Little Rock. Unfortunately, you guys got a lot of flooding going on north of you as well. Muskogee, Oklahoma, Dark Solo, less than 2% risk for tornadoes in areas of West Virginia today. Somebody asked about Tulsa. Let's go back to radar models here. Go back to the radar estimates here. Don't want to get anybody confused on what we're looking at here. Again, this is why we want to go to a subscription-based live broadcast so that we can cater a little bit more toward those that are asking some of these questions. And obviously, if you're paying for something, I'm going to be able to get a little bit more catered because there's going to be less people in those broadcasts. So we're going to try and do something like that. I don't know when we'll be able to get that going, but we're going to try that. So hopefully you guys will join. All right, so we're on the HRRR, and that just updated. So I got to go back to a 7 a.m. update here. So one moment. Muskogee, Okie from Muskogee. Anybody remember? I'm aging myself here. Okie from Muskogee. Anybody know who sings that? All right, slight risk for areas of Tulsa, but you are very, very close to that enhanced risk. That means all modes of severe weather are expected in areas of Muskogee. As you can look, this is a look at HRRR showing at 3 a.m. here, right here, 3 o'clock in the morning, pretty significant storms moving on in. Owasso, is that Oklahoma? All right, backing it up here. Owasso is the pin drop here, and it looks like around midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. Again, northern Oklahoma is going to have the late time storms because you've already had, and you may not even get them. I don't want to. I don't want to say that. Yeah, you definitely are. You're definitely not because there's capping going on. You've got a lot of those storms that have come through in northern Oklahoma this morning. That is causing for the atmosphere to stabilize a little bit, and we have to wait for it to destabilize again later this afternoon. And if that should happen, then all modes of severe weather would be possible in areas of Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma. Waco, Miami, Oklahoma. I'm assuming Waco, you're talking about Texas. All right, Waco, Texas area, you guys for today are outside of any risk, so you're good. Louisiana area, hi, your GNG Dalen. All right, so Louisiana, you guys are outside of any real major risks for today. Um, Tomorrow, that changes a little bit for areas of Louisiana, or not Louisiana, but that changes for Arkansas. Arkansas, you get into those risks for tomorrow. These are 2% risk and then 5% risk all the way up into St. Louis, Missouri, Springfield, Illinois, Bloomington, Illinois, Joliet, Chicago, all the way up to Milwaukee and Muskegon, Michigan. What's Bonka? Marley, I don't know where you're talking about. Can you please put a state next to Bonka? Yes, Waylon. I was waiting for Mandy got it right. Waylon. Waylon Jennings. Okie from Muskogee. All right, Muskogee rather. All right, Waylon Jennings. It's definitely aging myself. Hey, if you guys like music, it's been years since I sang, but okay, Ponca, Oklahoma. I'm not coming up. Maybe it's spelt wrong. Not sure here. One second. We go back to today's risks. I'm going to have a hard stop here very shortly. When I type in Ponca, oh, Ponca City. Ponca City, I got you. There we go. All right, so Ponca City, based on HRRR weather model, we're showing storms, again, not until after midnight for that area. You are in an enhanced risk. That's okay, Mandy. Marvin, all you folks that are in Oklahoma, I apologize. Obviously, I don't get to Oklahoma very often. I'd love to visit there. It's been many years. I took a trip with my family, my parents, way back in the late mid 80s. We went over to all the states. We visited all the states from Minnesota westward and down into, I think we didn't go to Louisiana. We went to maybe Arkansas, but that was as far south as we really went. Lived in Tulsa for 6 years. Howard, Kansas. Let me go to Kansas. Kansas is on top right now with any questions. So if you live in Kansas, I'm going to get you right away. All right, Howard, Kansas, you guys are in an enhanced risk. You are in that risk for tornado activity as well. That's a 5% risk. This is an estimate of what's expected for timing for Howard, Kansas. You guys are dealing with some major flooding as well there. So the timing on that, let me back that out a little bit. Once you get done with all these morning time storms and the cloud cover, I expect redevelopment to happen sometime late this afternoon. uh, Areas of Topeka and Kansas City area will get that early on, but then areas of Howard, Kansas can expect it late, so sometime after 6 p.m. And those are going to be pretty significant storms. We're talking damaging winds, 70 to maybe 90-mile-an-hour winds possible for those gust fronts that come through between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. time frame. Bobby B, yes, yes, I was likely in your area of Arkansas. Is that going to head for Branson? It's possible. Let's go ahead and bring this through. So Branson sometime after 2 o'clock in the morning. But again, if this front progresses a little bit faster and speeds up, it could move to your area sooner. Is there severe weather in Huntsville, Alabama area today? Huntsville, Alabama, you are in the risk for marginal risk. So that would be special weather statement type thing, 40 to 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. But the tornado, the tornado and severe wind risk and the hail risk are pretty minimal. Hail risk is pretty much non-existent for Huntsville, Alabama. Tornado risk is non-existent for Huntsville, Alabama. Again, showers and some thunderstorm. How's Olathe looking? Via cast or via Northeast Missouri. I'll do that, and then I'll get to Kansas. Olathe, I promise you, I will definitely get to you. Northeast Missouri, we're expecting tomorrow. So I'll have another live tomorrow. Northeast part of Missouri is expecting more of that significant weather for tomorrow. There is the tornado risk for tomorrow, if it ever pulls up. So the 2% is outlined there for Northeast and St. Louis area, that 5%. All right, let's go ahead and get to Claremont. I'm not sure, but I do need to get to Olathe here, folks. We've got more of a risk for today in areas of Kansas, so I apologize. Olathe, the timing on those storms, let's go ahead and take a look at that here. I'll zoom in for you a little bit. Know right where Olathe is. Lived there for a year. Probably not going to show up on here though because it's such such fun. There it is. All right, so let's figure out the timing on the worst of the worst storms. I do need to zoom out. So it's southwest of Overland Park, and it looks like after 5 p.m. is the most significant if you're in Olathe, Kansas, Overland Park, Kansas City, Gardner, Ottawa, Kansas, Burlington, Kansas. Those would be some areas that would be of great concern. As long as whatever is passing through northwest Arkansas is gone by 1 p.m. Wednesday. That you should be okay. All right, we gained 30 or 22 new followers. I appreciate it so much. Can you check Baton Rouge, Louisiana? I could certainly take a look at that. So Baton Rouge, Louisiana area, not expecting anything real significant, just general thunderstorms over in that area. We do see some more numerous storms around 2 p.m. tomorrow. Wonder if this did not update with the HER model here. 1 second. Blade Runner, thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. No, it's not going to be bad, Marie. It's not going to be bad. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but not going to be bad in Baton Rouge, Louisiana area at all. I can take a look at the next day. Again, not expecting it to be bad there either. As you get to day 3, things get a little bit dicey. Let's take a look at day 4. Really no data there, no data there. A little bit more of a quiet pattern. Likely a dominating high pressure is expected to move on over and suppress some of these storms, but I do expect it by the end of the month to ramp back up. Day 3 isn't going to get bad. So day 3, general thunderstorms in Baton Rouge area. Mid-Missouri. So this is for tomorrow's risks. So overnight tonight into tomorrow's risks. St. Louis, again, got to go back to the 12Z update to show you the timing on that. So this looks like overnight tonight, some storms hit mid-Missouri and move on through there, and then expect additional development later in the afternoon tomorrow for areas of like Springfield, St. Louis. This is outlining the risk for tornadoes. That's at 5% risk for the Brown and 2% for the risk for tomorrow. So I hope I covered as many areas as possible. It is almost impossible to cover every single person in the chat, but I appreciate you. Hopefully, you guys will stay weather aware. The main thing, I want to leave you guys with some stuff here. Check out these websites, weather.gov. S is in Sam, P is in Patrick, C is in cat. Okay, spc.noaa.gov. If you go to those sites, those are government run, like National Weather Service is the weather.gov, And then the Storm Prediction Center, which is what the SPC stands for. Those are great resources. So part of my job here and what I want to do is make people weather aware, and I also want to give them free tools that are available so that you can look on a reliable source of where things are. You know, the crazy thing is, too, if you go to weather.gov, you can actually look at a live radar for free. You go to radar.weather.gov. Some weather radio stations are down in Missouri till about the 19th. That's crazy. That's a bummer. And so that's why we have to rely on as many free tools as we possibly can. Yes, check Hawaii. Okay. I can check Hawaii. I don't know. I've never gone over to Hawaii for weather models. No risks going on there. Tropics. I could take a look at the tropics here. I'm not trying to dog you. I just don't have a whole lot of confidence that there's anything going on in those. Let's take a look. Invest 94. Invest 94 is a tropical system, and that's not expected to go there. So let's take a look at some of these other tropics here. 1 second. 5, nothing there. Eric, nothing there. It was just pouring, so I just want to know, is there more rain? Okay, I got you. I understand completely. Sorry, I'm not trying to dog you here. I don't even think I have a radar map that's there. Let's see. Shows how many times I've gone there. Let's see. It must be over in the main island here. I don't know, man. This isn't picking up on a whole lot from what I can see here. I can try to show HRRR with that. I gotta admit, I've never looked at Hawaii on my lives, and I appreciate you. I do. It's having a hard time even picking it up. I'm not gonna lie. This compared to what I'm seeing, I'm not used to. Is either it's a issue with my graphics here because maybe my radar Omega is like, hey, what are you doing? You're going over to Hawaii. I don't know. No disrespect, yes. I just have no idea what's going on over there at this point. I can take a look at it from a radarweather.gov and see if it's going to give me that. 1 second. There's no alerts over there according to radar.weather.gov either. So thank you, Mandy. I did have a good Father's Day. I wish it could have been better, longer. More time off would have been great. Kids made some fun stuff for me. So I'm going to let you guys go. Again, the severe weather risks are pretty plentiful if you're in central southern plains over by Kansas. Moderate risk for severe weather. You're welcome, Yessa. Thanks for the follow as well. I appreciate it. All right, God bless and stay safe, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay weather aware, and remember, if you're in the flood zones, turn around, don't drown, and stay safe. I got to work from 10:30 in the morning until 9 p.m. Central Time at my full-time gig, so I will not be back live for the severe weather coverage as much as I wish. I really wish that I could get to the point where this would be my full-time gig. But I don't think it's going to be in the cards for me, just the way my chaotic life is, I guess. But